My name is George Iceman Gervin.
This is Dylan Brooks.
What's up? This is Vince Carter. You're listening to the 3-Point Conversion. Check it out.
Jason, you have an opportunity to do what only 7 other players have done, and that is to bring a championship to Dallas as a player and a head coach. What does that mean to you, to the city of Dallas, and then just to have that, part of NBA history, your career?
Yeah, I think it's a incredible thing to be able to hopefully achieve. But I'm just very thankful for Juan Cuban bringing me on board, and then also being able to work with Nico, and now our new ownership with Patrick. And so again, it's just I'm with a great group of leaders. We're in a great city when you talk about sports. So, and then you talk about our team when you talk about Luka and Kai. And the rest of the group, it's an incredible opportunity, and I'm just very fortunate to be in this seat.
What has Derrick Jones meant to you guys, not just on offense, but defense also?
Yeah, well, I think it's, when you talk about D. Jones, it's not just one thing, it's just his character of who he is. He's about playing the game the right way. He was given a chance, and he took full advantage of it. He never complains. He does his job at a high level, and is really appreciative of the opportunity. And when you talk to him and you get to know him, I mean, he's very consistent with his messaging that he just wants to win and be a part of it. And he's definitely a part of it. He's definitely helped us win. And so we're very lucky to have him, no matter if he was signed first or last when it comes to free agency. He's become a big part of the Mavs culture. You'll talk about defense, but also he's shooting the three at a high clip. His athleticism, and we joked about it at the beginning of the season that now we can participate in the layup line. We have athletes who can dunk, and he's part of that athletic crew.
13 years ago today, you and your team went on a 22-5 run to tie the NBA Finals at 1 game apiece with Miami. You guys obviously didn't give up that day. What parallels do you see from that team to this team that are similar to what you experienced 13 years ago?
Yeah, I think this team is, about adjustments. It's about learning, from one game or one possession to the next. This team is very steady. We don't get up too high or we don't get down too low. We just love to compete in the competition. And that's not saying that we're going to win every game or win every quarter, but we learn from that and we bounce back, and we put our best foot forward in that next quarter or that next opportunity that we have. And so it's a great group to be around. Seeing that last night at dinner, guys had a really good time, and just, it's really simple. We keep things simple, and they thrive in that situation, and it's fun to be around those guys.
Jason, what has the last 3 days been like since Thursday night, just as far as the coaching prep goes, getting the scouting report out? Like, how big is the scouting report? Is it an overload? Is it an overload of players, or what do you really try to get across to them, and to just for your staff too, trying to get ready for this?
Yeah, I think for the staff, it can be a little complex, but for the players right now, it's really simple. We've been just really the last couple of days, we've been off mentally and physically to get ready for Boston. Today was about us. We didn't talk or do anything about Boston. That will start tomorrow. And so really it's been more for the coaches to get ready. But for the players, again, we will keep it simple. And again, in the last 3 series, come up with a game plan and be ready to execute, and then be ready to pivot if something's not working.
What challenges does the Boston team present that probably didn't see against the Clippers, Thunder?
Yeah, they're gonna, they're well coached. Joe is one of the best coaches in this league. You look at, they've been there before. They have talented players, duels, if you want to look at 2, if you want to look at 3, if you want to look at 5. They have quite a few guys who can play the game. They shoot the three extremely well. Defensively, they have great hands. They can guard. And so they cause a problem. That's why they're one of the best in the league. And so we got our work cut out. When we'll see what happens.
The hoopla circus of the finals is so much different than normal everyday NBA. So what are you telling these guys? You have so many guys who haven't been through it. What's kind of the messaging to get them through it?
Same messaging as the Western Conference and the first round and second round. It's just basketball. It's just more of you guys that have more opinions, but it's to enjoy it. Because you're not guaranteed to be here every year, to understand that there's one goal, and that's to win a championship, and there's only 2 teams left, and we're one of them. And so to take pride in that, but to enjoy it, and to understand it's not going to be easy. This is the hardest thing to do, as much as we said the last round is the hardest thing. So for this, to enjoy this, the atmosphere, to enjoy the media, the attention, and to be ready to do your job, and that's to find a way to win on the road.
Are you going to be able to enjoy this?
I've been enjoying it, can't you tell?
Speaking of us guys and gals, April of last year, you had to answer some pretty tough questions from us for a variety of reasons. Is there any personal vindication for you in this run?
No, you guys ask all the tough questions. These are tough questions. No, everybody has their right to their opinion. That's fair, and that's just, you guys are doing your job. As the head coach of the Mavs, I'm doing my job. There were tough questions last year, tough questions that will come from this series. I will give you the answer. Some will like it, some will not. But my job is to help these young men get paid, and also to find a way to win a championship. And I've done that since I was a player, and since I've been a coach. There's a lot of people who have gotten paid from just listening to what I've asked them to do as a player, and then also as a coach. So now we have an opportunity to win a championship. 2 out of the 3 years we've gone to the Western Conference Finals. Some would say that's pretty cool. Some will say that that's failure, but that's just the way it goes. You're not going to make everybody happy, but I know how to win. I've done that since elementary school to the highest level. I've won gold medals. I've won championships, and so and I've won a championship as a coach, assistant coach, and so now I get the opportunity to do it, hopefully as a head coach.
Jason, it's very rare that a team missed the playoffs one year and the very next season get to the NBA Finals. What does that mean to you if you guys were able to accomplish that?
We had a plan. You guys just didn't know it. Yeah, we got D-Live and Omax. It's all right to fail. I said that before. It's how you fail. And we were in the lottery, and we got a piece that was huge in D-Live. And then we actually get another piece in Omax. And so it's all right. You can't win a championship every year. But how do you build a championship organization? Dallas hasn't been in that situation in a long time. And Nico and Patrick are doing that, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. But again, the first year I was here, we went to the Western Conference Finals. Hadn't been there in a long, long time, but we acted like we were there every year, but we weren't. But now we're starting to build something, and it's kind of fun to be a part of. And that doesn't mean you're going to win a championship every year. But if you can participate and play for one, that's fun. And that's what we're trying to build here.
You played Boston twice this year. Did you put any stock into one of those games at all? In the spring, or the totally different circumstances?
Yeah, you definitely will watch them and see what they've done against us and what we've done to have success, and what didn't work. But just like I watched the preseason games of when we were in Abu Dhabi against Minnesota, 2 different teams. I thought Minnesota was really, really good then. I thought we were in a little trouble. But when you look at, with D Live in Minnesota and Abu Dhabi and the growth that he had, and so the teams are different. Both teams have grown up. Both teams are playing great basketball at this point. So, but we will look at the tape and see what success they had against our defense, and if we had any success against their defense, and we'll try to see if we can get to that more than they can.
You're the guy who sits in that chair and gets the accolades and also the arrows.
What accolades?
Well,
I'm just joking.
but you didn't get a contract.
Uh-huh.
So, but at the trade deadline, you guys pretty made your team in a large way.
Yeah.
It changed the way you guys play. I wonder, in terms of the whole coaching staff working together, how much revamping was actually done? How much of that was, how difficult was that, and how much credit should your staff be getting on as well?
Yeah, I think the staff should get a lot of credit because they have worked extremely hard this year. We joked about it early in the season. Our defense was our offense. It was. We were playing offense at a high level, and we were scoring a lot of points. And then we made a roster change. The league made a roster change. Physicality is part of it, and we adapted to that, and we embraced the physical play, and we used it to our advantage, and that helped us. And so my staff works extremely hard, but again, they love coaching. They love improving the young players. The development sometimes will go unnoticed, but they spend a lot of hours in the gym and helping these young guys. When you look at Hardy, Omax, Lively, being able to work, and then there's a trust factor that those guys have with the staff, that they trust what they're selling because they're doing it at a very high level.
Jason, you mentioned Lively a few times. How is his development and impact throughout the course of the season? It seems like he's peaking right now. How is that compared to what maybe your reasonable expectations were when you drafted him? In a lot of it, kind of as a project at that point.
Yeah, I think when we got Lively, we felt that it was going to, fill one of the holes that Luka was looking for. A vertical guy. Had some similarities to Tyson when you talk, not just his physical or his build, but his voice. As a rookie, he talked a little bit more than normal, and so you could see the future of him being the anchor of the defense. The future just happened to come a lot faster after Abu Dhabi and Madrid. You could see that he wanted to be the sponge. He wanted that responsibility, and sometimes young players will shy away from that, but he ran to it, and to be able to rim run. There's no plays called for him. He benefits from Luka and Kai getting downhill, and then on the defensive end, or take that back, offensively, missed shots he's gotten some big offensive rebounds for us throughout the season. And so his growth of offense, understanding, sometimes in AAU basketball, if a play isn't ran for you, you go into a different team. But for him, he just plays his role, does his job at a high level. And then defensively, being able to switch, guard on the perimeter, and then also protect the rim. And then, as we've always talked about, the only way you can have a good defense is by rebounding the ball, and he does that for us. And so I joked about, Abu Dhabi trip. It was an eye-opener for him going against Gobert and Towns and Reed. But you can see from that point to where he is today, there was a big jump, and we're happy that he made that jump.
Jason, I know you mentioned just the way that the officiating changed, right?
Yep.
And different physicality. How have you guys been able to take advantage of that, and how have you seen that? Or is it even cranked up a little bit more in the playoffs in terms of how the game is being officiated, or is
I mean, the first 3 or 4 minutes, you got to figure out, what's being called, and then pivot from there. But the physicality, definitely, I think, after All-Star break, definitely was a little bit more of the touch foul went away. The defense had a fighting chance, and I think that's what the league was looking for, was not the score to be 150 to 160. But that it was a little bit more competitive, and that the defense did have a chance to guard the offensive player, and I think that's where the physicality came back into play.
Coach Kidd with Omax, he was on the practice floor today. Did he do everything, and could you see a return for him coming soon?
Omax is working back from his injury. He did not participate in our practice. He did everything individually, but he's working extremely hard. And I don't know if he's going to participate in this finals, but he's doing better, and so we'll see.
Jason, I know you brought up the switching. Where did that trust come from? How did you develop that trust that he was able and capable to switch on to smaller guys? Something that for a lot of the regular season you were doing, you weren't asking him to do very often.
Yeah, we had to fail first, and then to help him to understand what the smalls were going to try to do to him, and the coaching staff did a great job with that. And even though he's not officially on the coaching staff, but Tyson has done an incredible job with him. And so understanding Tyson's played in this league, came in as a 3, finished as a center. And so to understand what the smalls are going to try to do to you, I thought Tyson has done a really good job with him.
Jason, I know Marquise doesn't play a lot, but what kind of impact has he had on your team on the sideline during the game and also in the locker room?
Yeah, I think when you talk about Smooth, I think he's done an incredible job. I think I've mentioned it before. If I had a vote, I know it would go between Luka and Kai. It would be split as the MVP, but the one who has really been great for us as the MVP has been Smooth. A lot of times coaches will always say the guys who score or play the most minutes or have the impact on the stat line, but Smooth has been incredible for us in the locker room, and we need more vets to help these younger kids understand how to be successful, not just on the floor but off the floor too.
You and him were together with the Lakers when they won the title in the bubble in 2020. Did you see that kind of impact that he had?
Yes, that's why he's here.
Jason, you've reiterated just since you've been in Dallas, we can't take Luka for granted in this game. Playoffs, he's leading almost every single category. What have you seen from his level of play?
Yeah, and I will continue to say that you can't take someone who's so great for granted. A lot of times that's what we do. You pencil him in for a triple-double, but what he has done with his physical, what he's going through physically, he comes to work. He knows that he's on the biggest stage. He loves the big stage, and he wants to win. And so for him to fight through his injuries to get us to the finals has been incredible. We get a couple days here for him to catch his breath mentally and physically, because it doesn't get any easier. But again, what he has done is shown that he's one of the best players in the world.
And just him as a new dad, have you seen his perspective change any this season?
His softer side?
Just kids really give perspective.
Oh, he understands what a nap is or what sleep is. But yes, I think he doesn't take for granted being able to take a nap. But I think anytime you have a newborn that comes into your life, it puts things in perspective. And he's a very humble kid. When you talk about Luka and about Sharon, I think one of the things that we'll see that was caught on camera is him giving the MVP, Western Conference MVP, to D-Live. And I think that message alone, he understands how important D-Live is to this team. And I think he was probably kidding but also serious because of the importance of what D-Live brings to us. And this is someone that comes off the bench. And so, but that's who Luka is. He's very humble. and appreciative, but I think also newborn, you get to see a little softer side of him too.
Coach, going off that, you've seen stars excel in the playoffs. You've seen stars struggle in the playoffs. What is it about Luka that you've seen that makes him so focused and able to play well in the big moment?
That's a good question. I think it goes back to him when at Real Madrid. Just being on the biggest stage at the age of 15 or 16 years old. I know there's a clip of him out there that he's playing against Russ. He's guarding Russ, gets Russ to shoot a jump shot. So that let us know that he can't play defense. But it's kind of cool that he's been on this stage as a teenager or as an older teenager, and he has always adapted, or he's been able to perform at the highest level, and for that he can draw on those experiences and get his game to that level. When you saw Game 5, it was very similar to Game 7 in Phoenix. He didn't let those fans get a chance to cheer. He wanted to end the game, and he did in that first quarter. And so, again, he is special. He's one of the best players in the world, and again, he loves the competition. Thanks.